I'm Mason.
And I'm Chris.
And for today's review, we've got something from Belgium.
Waffles?
No, thank you. But we're reviewing the G&G Cybergun Herstal F2000.
Can I borrow your hand real quick? You alright?
Yeah, could use some syrup though.
Yeah, and like the little strawberry things, and whipped cream.
Hand waffles. So good. Anyway, back to the review.
Yeah, today we're going to be reviewing the G&G F2000 licensed by Cybergun.
Cybergun.
So, yeah, you do have these beautiful traits that Cybergun always has. We'll start going over construction though. This gun is almost made entirely out of a nylon fiber polymer thing. It's G&G's, it's really strong as usual from G&G. But the reason I say it's almost entirely made out of polymer is because the gun is almost entirely a stock. I mean, look at this thing. It is a stock.
It's a stock with a barrel.
Yeah, that's about it, and a charging handle and some sights.
It's a stock. It's a gun that's a stock.
It's a gun that's a stock. It's solid, and I really I kind of hated on this gun. I thought it was kind of stupid looking, which it sort of is a little bit. It's a little feature, but when you're holding it, it's very comfortable. Yeah, it is. It really fits in. You don't realize how big of and thick of a stock because it fits. It works really nicely. The removal, well, the disassembly rather, is really easy.
It's as easy as 1, 2.
Yeah, watch, see, it's 1,
push the body pin,
2.
Ta-da! And it's funny because usually these things are like a 1, 2, 3 step process.
Like a 3, yeah.
At the least, no, 2. Belgians, they don't need 3, they need 2. That's it.
Yeah. We don't know why, but they just...
It works.
Yeah, whatever they want. That's your hop-up unit. I'm going to show you how to reassemble this real quick.
It's as easy as 1, 2.
Just in reverse, yeah. Very easy to reassemble. This is metal. It is metal and polymer, rather. You have a metal outer barrel, plastic flash hider, metal fake gas tube. Metal and polymer mixed together, not really that big a deal because the polymer is extremely strong and light.
And again, it is made by G&G, so you're going to get a very reliable construction. You're going to get a very reliable gearbox.
Yes, that is very true.
This is G&G.
It's a G&G, yeah. This gun, though, when you disassemble the front assembly like I just showed you, you get access to the outer barrel, the inner barrel, the hop-up, the bucking, and on the rear, we can show you in a little greater detail. It's kind of hard to do right now, but there's 2 screws.
Watch the montage.
Yeah, there's 2 screws on the back, like an AUG or a TAR-21. You can take the 2 screws out, and the gearbox, wiring, you know,
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff falls out the back, and basically you're just left with this stock, and everything else is removed.
A little bit more about this gun. If some of you are looking at this and you have no idea what I'm holding and it looks like I just came back from Terminator, it is a weird looking gun, so you know, don't be hating. It is really nice. If you're wondering what kind of gun this is, if you've never seen one like this, it's called a bullpup gun, and the reason for that is because the magazine, and this takes M4, M16 style magazines, goes right back here, nice and snug, and it's behind your hand, behind your trigger hand. So it's a little different. It might take you a little bit to get used to if you're an M4 kind of guy, or really any other non-bullpup gun kind of guy. But it is really comfortable. Some key features on this. The mag release is one of my favorite things about this because it is right in front of the magazine. And basically, we'll show you in greater detail later, you're going to grab the magazine and you just push up and it falls right out. So it's not, I mean, a downside, if you like that big speed reload for an M4 where you push the button, let it fall out, and then reload another one, wouldn't recommend that because you're going to ruin your mags. But it's nice because you're going to grab it and you just push it. That's it. You just push it. That's it.
It's very easy for a tactical reload. It's very ergonomic.
Alright, a note about magazines. This gun, it pains me to say it, High caps are going to work better for this, and the reason why is because if you look at a high cap, the door to put the BBs in is going to take up maybe half of the top of the mag, and the other half is going to be the little hole where the BBs go into, and the rectangle top door piece that covers the spring. On a mid cap, if you look at it, that's door. There's no BB door to pour BBs in,
obviously.
And this rectangle piece that covers the spring is much longer.
Yeah, it's about a quarter of an inch longer, which is a pain because on this G&G F2000, all the G&G F2000s, there is a little extra nub in which a screw holds the gearbox together, and that prevents mid caps from fully seating in the mag well.
Right. Now, fear not. If you are like us, what I run, and what both of us run, are King Arms plastic mid caps. Now, if you have a mid cap, it's made of plastic, you're in luck. If you want to get this gun, you're not, down and out. And Chris, tell them what they need to do to their mag.
Yeah, all you're going to need to do to your magazine is find a high cap that works well. Then you're going to mark off how long the small rectangular piece that comes off of the BB nozzle is. If
you don't know exactly what we're talking about, wait for the montage at the end. We're going to show you side by side.
Yeah, you guys,
each piece.
Most of you will probably know. It's where the spring is housed that gives pressure to the lever to keep the BBs inside the magazine while it's outside of your gun. Whatever I used a bandsaw. You can use a handsaw to cut these, trim a small piece of plastic off. It does expose the spring, unfortunately.
Tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit, and only half the spring, so it still functions properly. It just is exposed now. I've been using them like this in, the F2000, then in the Scar, then in the M4, then in the Sada.
Will not affect any other guns.
Doesn't affect anything. It works just fine.
And if you haven't noticed, these are M4, M16 style magazines.
Yep.
So basically, if you don't have a high cap to compare it, it's a quarter of an inch. That's it. It's just a tiny little bit, and it's really annoying that you need to do that, but it's just a quarter of an inch. Take it off, and if you know how to handle a saw, if you don't, have someone else do it, because you're going to ruin your mag. But
please don't cut any of your extremities off.
Please don't. You need most of your fingers in order to be able to shoot.
I'm rather attached to my
Ha. Well, anyway, measure a quarter of an inch. Start on the top and go on the bottom, and then work its way in. You're going to feel the saw hitting the spring. You're not going to hurt it unless you really start digging into it, but it should work. After your magazine surgery is done, the mag is going to fit right in. It's going to work just fine. Another note about the mags. Chris, what kind of mag do you have right there?
This is a mag brand, as we said. This is it's a King Arms.
King Arms. King Arms mid caps are what we're using. The
mag brands also will work. They're pretty much the same thing. This is the standard SEMA, JG. High cap works just fine. But I do here have it's not a beta project. This is an A&K PMag. It's a high cap, so it does have a door on the top. But because of these waffle markings on the side, it doesn't fit into the F2000, so it just kind of sticks in there and it doesn't feed. So unfortunately, no PMags.
So most of if you have M4, M16 style high caps that are like normal standard magazines, probably gonna work. If you have mid caps and they're made of metal.
Well, usually the metal ones still don't. The top is still plastic, so 99% of the time you're gonna be okay.
So if you're comfortable enough with yourself doing the little magazine surgery, you'll be okay.
Yeah, just keep it in mind that if you do damage the magazine and your spring flies out, there's really no way to fix it on these. You just got to be very careful while you're doing it. Because there's nothing worse than
All right, let's talk about barrel length. Now, if you notice something about this kind of bullpup gun, or if you have something like this, on most M4s or Scars, MK16, the gearbox is up here, which is kind of right in the middle.
Yeah, and your hop-up is right here.
Correct.
So your barrel starts right here, right about at that hex key.
Right in the middle. So now we're going to compare that to the F2000. The gearbox is back here. That's why this is real thick and doesn't have anything going through it. The gearbox is back here, so the barrel starts right about here.
Correct. Yeah, right about there. So if you compare those two, you can kind of see.
I mean, we put an extended barrel on this MK16 and covered it with our Mark suppressor, and still, F2000 inner barrel is still a lot longer. And what makes this gun unique is G&G's FPS adjusting, well, spring adjusting system. And basically how you do that, we're going to show you right now. Take our mag out, just in case it's been empty. Check that. But this is also how to access your battery. So you're going to flip up the rubberized butt plate, buttstock, whatever you want to call it. You're going to slide it up. It is a bit of a pain in the butt, so if you need to do this during a game, it might be a little bit of a downside, but it does slide right off.
And I would recommend taking out the metal insert, because it just makes life a little easier.
Again, pictures later. But in the back, what you're going to find your regular, what is this, Tamiya?
It's Tamiya, small type connector with some low resistance wire.
So batteries that are going to work in here, small type, mini type, whatever you want to call it. The stick, not stick, candy bar type, if you want to call it that, standard, or
Small
nunchucks. Basically, it's small batteries, 8.4, 9.6s, I think, do fit in here.
Yeah, 9.6 nunchucks.
Pretty sure they do.
That's what we were running.
And up here, again, close up later, is a little, excuse me, Phillips head, flathead screw.
And a 4mm Allen key.
Correct. And what that does, this is connected to the back of your spring. When you turn it clockwise, it's going to push the spring in and it's going to compact it. Now, if you're a physicist, you're going to know that when you compact the spring and it flies out, it's going to give more energy. So basically, it's going to, if you put it all the way in and push the spring all the way in, it's going to bring you to about 412 FPS, which is ideal for a field game. This thing has a really long inner barrel and a really high FPS, so it's going to be great for your field game. Now, if you want to take this to CQB, and you've seen our Pack Airsoft at Striker 114 gameplay video, you're going to notice that I was using this gun. Of course, it's legal for CQB. Where we play, the limit is 350. If you turn it counterclockwise, it's going to bring it all the way out, and it's going to bring it down to about 344, 340 FPS.
So on average, you're going to have about a 70 FPS change, usually. It says 50 on the box, you get a little bit more, depending on how your spring and spring guide assembly tightens and loosens and stuff like that.
Another key feature, you got a flip-up rear sight, which is a bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
The aperture is not nice for the back. It's very, very small. What we're probably going to do to this guy is what we did to the MK16. We just took a drill bit and we drilled a hole through it to make the aperture much larger. The front sight is not adjustable for anything.
It's adjustable for height, elevation, but not windage. So you got up and down.
Adjust that, Chris.
You just twist it. It's actually really easy. You can do it with a pair of pliers or with the included tool. It twists in and out. It is threaded. The gun also has an orange flash hider, which is pinned on. Kind of a bummer, but what are you gonna do?
If you want to change your flash hider, it's gonna be kind of difficult.
Yep, it's a pain.
But sights, not that bad. I don't use the rear sight. The front sight is nice. If you have any kind of sights, red dot, hollow sights, if you have a hollow sight, you're very lucky. But sights would work good with this. There is a different version. This is the regular F2000. There is a version that's called the Hunter, and that has a built-in scope. It's like a built-in, like it's almost like a dome that goes over.
Yeah, it's a long cylinder. We don't have that just because we want the freedom to be able to mount a camera, different types of optics. But it is included, and it does have a different outer barrel in the front. I'm not sure why. It does have a little thing. I don't know what we would call it. It's behind the flash hider. It's like a little ring.
Some other quick little last minute features. You got a non-functioning charging handle. It does go back and up. Doesn't do anything if you want to play with it every time you're out. If you want to pull it back, and then when you're done, just cock it forward. Good
Doesn't
for you.
really do anything.
Go for it. Your hop up is accessed by this little hood, which I think is kind of cool. You just pick it up, and it is is that a standard M4 type?
It is not a standard M4 type, but it is
it's a wheel type.
It has a standard wheel type function.
Right, so up and down, there's that. Your fire selector, this does fire in safe, semi, and auto, and that is down here. Really cool feature about this. You got safe all the way to the right. Right in the middle is semi. When you go to full auto, this is, I guess, a 2-stage trigger.
Exactly, it's a 2-stage trigger.
When you're in full auto, when you're in single, I should say, pull it back all the way. It's gonna fire in single. When you're in full auto, if you pull, there's 2 distinct, I guess, points of how far back the trigger goes.
Yeah,
if you apply a little bit of pressure, it's gonna go almost halfway back, and it's gonna fire in semi, and it's gonna be heavy enough to where if you want to pop off a couple rounds in semi-auto, you'll be able to, but when you pull it all the way back, it's going to fire in full auto. And you're going to feel a distinct difference in how much pressure you need to apply. I mean, it's not that sensitive.
It's not actually the pressure, like, not to confuse you, it's kind of hard to understand, but it's not the pressure, like, it's actually the distance in which the trigger travels backwards.
Right.
You can actually hear it. You can hear...
Right, you're gonna feel it too. Like, it's hard to explain. If you know someone or have one of these, you're gonna know what it feels like. When you're in semi, it's one feeling. When you're in full auto, it goes a little bit farther backward. So if you want to apply, it's not stress on your finger to fire in full auto, but it's very easy to pop off a couple quick rounds or a couple slow rounds in semi, and then hammer it down for full auto to spray it.
Yeah.
But
the absolute last thing about this gun that we will tell you about is that it does have the AUG P90 style trigger, so you got this big, thick, comfortable trigger. Actually, after a while, it does start to get tiring to pull it down. Not that big a deal, though, when you're playing.
Just buff out your fingers.
Yeah, you get buff fingers.
Ripped fingers.
So, this gun is for sale for $400 on Airsoft GI and priced competitively at most other Airsoft stores.
A little bit pricey. It's a nice gun. It's a really nice gun. If you're into bullpup guns or you want to try a bullpup gun, maybe go to a store and hold it, or if you know a friend, go fire it. It's a nice gun. Check it out. Again, Airsoft GI. We're going to post links for it later. I do believe it's still in stock at GI.
It should be, and it will be back eventually.
Right. Another tiny little detail. Again, the FN Herstal trades are really nice. They scratch very easily.
Yep.
On this side, we're going to show you pictures later, it's really scratchy. If you just took your nail and started doing this, you're going to destroy them. They're really nice, just don't be just like, I wonder how good these trades are, and start scrapping them.
Don't test your trades.
If you do that normally, you need to work out those problems. But other than that, very nice gun. It is manufactured and made by G&G. It is licensed by Cybergun. Shoots a range from 412 to 340 FPS.
Adjustable FPS, $400.
Really nice gun. We both used it. We both like it. He's gonna sell it. Disappointment.
You can buy it if you would like.
You can buy it. You want to buy it? Too late. No.
Alright, I am Chris, and this is
Mason.
And we're signing off.
And we like waffles.